Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. And welcome to my stop on the Kinda Corny Hop. And this is in collaboration with our beautiful hosts, Traci Vanover of Traci V Designs, as well as Morena's Corner Crafts. And I am very honored to be participating along with them. Now, this is all kinds of sweet Halloween projects featuring a candy corn theme. So you can see that on screen I am getting ready to sew up a couple different squares, if you will, but they will ultimately become pieces of solid colored candy corn, more like from the what's it called, the harvest mix or something like that, instead of the traditional candy corns. So I am making these kind of with a prim feel, meaning primitive design, which is very much a homespun kind of project, very much imperfect, not straight lines, that kind of thing, which is right up my alley because I am very much a non-perfectionist. So as I go further, I will stop and say welcome if you are new here to my channel. If you would like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, all those good things, hit the like. Make sure you drop me a comment as well. Let me know your thoughts on primitive design as well as Halloween and anything you might want to talk about. Just drop that downstairs in the comments section and we will have us a conversation about it. So I am not a seamstress by any means. I'm teaching myself to sew. I did remember just recently that I took a sewing class, a home ec class, 100 years ago in high school. And so maybe some of those skills stuck with me. But let me get back to my project because I tend to digress. So if you are new here, I apologize. That's just kind of what I do. If you are not new here, of course, welcome, and you know exactly how I am, and so settle in. We'll see this through. So this Sherpa that I'm working with is faux Sherpa, obviously, and it is being repurposed from an old quilt or comforter. And I just took the comforter apart. It had some holes in it, and I decided I was going to hold on to the Sherpa. And I have colored it, these three colors, this kind of orangey color, the kind of yellow, and then the little taupey brown. And I did the coloring, the dyeing of the fabric, if you will, with just some acrylic paints. Some of them are distress paints, some of them are just regular old craft paints from Michael's and Hobby Lobby and wherever I picked them up at. So I did that some time ago, and these have been sitting, these fabric swatches basically have been sitting in my stash. And the dye that I used to create my patterns was a dye from the company called This Calls for Confetti. And that die is intended to make shaker cards, but you can use your stuff in your stash however it pleases you. Use it in lots of different ways. You know, let's make our products work for us, right? Stretch those things. So I used them and I just kind of drew on the fabric itself, pinned it together, stitched it together, and then I cut off the excess. And you saw me doing some little snips on the corners. That is just so that it would lie down a little bit better. Those corners would lie down better when I used my little dowel up there in the corner to push those corners out. And then I'm stuffing it all up and stitching up those loose edges or those openings, if you will. That's where I put the stuffing in, and just hand stitching that. And here I am again snipping those corners, and that again is something that you can skip if you want to skip it. I'm sure it has a technical name. I don't know what that is because again I am just learning and teaching myself as I go, and as I get some good advice from other friendly crafters who know what they're doing. So I use my little dowel to push the batting in there. Now this is batting that I bought from the store. However, I do still have the leftover batting from the comforters. I just don't know where it is right now. So I do all three little candy corns the exact same way. The orange one, the yellow one, the brown one. And they're so cute. And you could stop right here. Or you could do all kinds of different things with them. You could mount them on a stick. You could put them on the little spools. You could put them on a pedestal. You could hang them from something. You could just leave them as bowl fillers. Whatever you want to do. You could put little faces on them, skirts on them, add legs, and make them shelf sitters. And so here I have this little bat bread bowl, and I have a ghosty one as well. And they would be really cute as just bowl fillers, but they're a little bit big for these particular bowls. So I thought, let me try the ghost. And they fit, but I don't want to lose that cute ghosty face. So I decide that I'm going to go outside and look for a stick. So that's what I did. I found some sticks outside, And this one, I like the character of it, so that's what I'm going for, that little batty bat. You can back up and hit pause if you want to see that a little bit longer. But that first stick was a little too thick. So going along with the same idea as the bat hanger, I decided I like this one. I like the character of the curve in the stick versus the flatter part of the stick. So I just break it. I just break it. And here I've got this wire from my stash. I could not tell you the gauge. What I will tell you though is when you're poking it through the fabric, you want to make sure that you have a sharp edge. Most of these cutters, at least mine, when I cut it, it had a flat edge, so I had to nip it at an angle so that it would have a point, and that poked right through the fabric. And I do not measure. I'm winging absolutely everything, just making guesstimates, and if it doesn't work, then I make adjustments until it does. So I like the little curly cues of this primitive art, and I just think it's really cute. Some might just call it country. It may not be authentic prim, obviously, but it's primitive inspired. How about that? So right now I'm making the hanger and using again that pencil just to make little curly cues, wrapping the wire around just to secure it, curly cueing this end as well. Now keep in mind that there are sharp ends to this wire, so if your hands are sensitive or if you don't want to get dirty, you might want to wear some gloves. Those kinds of things don't bother me. If I get poked and get hurt, I'll just put a Band-Aid on. That's just kind of who I am. But we're all different, right? We all craft different. We're all made different. So now that I have these ready to hang, I have the hanger on the stick, I have the hangers on each of the candy corns, decided that I wanted to embellish them just a little bit. I don't go crazy, but I just wanted to add a little bit of trim, and then I'll put a little piece of decoration, and you can see the jars up there at the top of the screen. So I have different burlap. They're not really laces, but they're kind of ribbons. So I thought, did I want to use the rusty star? I like that. I have a variety of different buttons, trying out several of them. Ultimately, I go with this one. I have 3 of them, so they'll keep some continuity. Now, I do use different trim on each of them, but I don't ever leave a button naked, so I always put some kind of ribbon or twine in there. In this case, it's thicker than a baker's twine. I'm not really sure what it's called or even where I got it from. It's thicker than a baker's twine, but not by much, but it does have like a waxy feel. So here I have another piece of lace / ribbon, whatever you want to call it. I really liked those frayed ends. To keep it from fraying even further, I added just a little bit of white glue to the ends and just kind of rubbed it through my fingers so that it would go out on each one of those little fibers to keep them from fraying more. Then I take my scissors and I kind of give those little strings, the twine, just give it some body and some movement. This one I do the exact same. Again, the burlap ribbon is just a little bit different than the other 2, but they all coordinate very well. And so here I have them. Here I have my stick with the hanger on it, and I start in the middle, because once I have the middle, then I know how far out to take the other 2. And so I am just, like I said, just winging it, just eyeballing it. It looks good here, it looks good there. Maybe I need to shimmy and shift, and I just adjust and do all those different things just to make it work for my eye in the moment that I'm making it. I know a lot of people are planners, and you really have to have everything set in stone kind of before you get started. I am a fly by my pants. Fly by the seat of my pants. Is that how that saying goes? That's how I craft. I'm very intuitive, and what happens in the moment is what happens in the moment. I usually have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't usually have a plan. And so here I am just securing this wire down a little bit more. I do use a little bit of hot glue in the end on the back side just to make sure that they don't shift, that the little wires don't shift. But again, I leave the excess on and I just twist it up on that pencil and just leave there like little tendrils, little curly cues. I think they're really cute, and they add a lot of character to the overall design. So we get the yellow one in place, and then I get the brown one in place, and that obviously is supposed to look like in the fall mix or whatever that mix is called. It's like the chocolate one, right? And then the orange one will come along as well, and we'll get it to collaborate with the others and kind of fall into line and comply. So we wrap it around. One piece just gets secured, the other one gets secured, and then twisted up like the tendril, the curly Q. And it's so easy to do those curly Qs, and you can make them as long or as short as you want. You can give them as much character as you want or don't want. Now I decided that I wanted some ribbons as well, but I didn't want to go ribbon crazy. So again, I have another large burlap one that was purchased on Amazon. The others were, here and there in craft stores. Joann's, maybe Hobby Lobby, maybe Michael's, I don't know. And then I have some more of that little brown twine in the bows as well. The same twine that I put through the buttons before I hot glued them in place. And so you just work with your bows, with your ribbons, till you get them the way you like them looking, the right length and all of that. Now I do like mine to be a little unruly. That's just kind of goes along with the intuitive crafting and the no plan. Things tend to be unruly, and that's how I like it. I don't necessarily like my people unruly, but I like my crafts unruly. So I'm adding little bows and trims to the wires on each of my little candy corns, and we are just about done. Now I will say that it takes some time, right? Because there's a lot of different steps involved. Not to mention finding the sticks and dyeing the fabric. So this is many days of work that I have kind of trimmed down to about 13-14 minutes. But here is the final product, guys. I think it's adorable. You can see my little hanger at the top with the ribbons and the twines and things. It's really cute. Now I did not put any hot glue on those. I only put hot glue on the wire, on the back of the wire of each of the candy corns, just so that they wouldn't shift. So there's the back side. I need to clean that up a little bit, but I think they're really cute. I love that they're just a little bit different, but they all coordinate just so, and it just brings the whole thing together. So here it is. I had it hanging on my mantle. I have some other little garlands out there on the mantle as well, and just kind of played around with some different things, different ways to hang it. You can hang it on a doorknob, you can hang it on a knob of a cabinet, you can hang it on or incorporate it into a wreath, which we'll see here in a second. I have it hanging there with the wreath. I think that looks really cute. And there's lots of different things that you can do with these primitive decorative hangers, guys. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. Make sure that you hop along. Excuse me, I have Traci and Morena. I have their links downstairs in my description box. But also the next person, excuse me, the next person in the hop lineup will be there for you, and I encourage you to hop along and see what everybody has created. And again, I thank you for spending some time with me. This has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy, and the Kinda Corny Hop. And until next time, mwah, I'm out.